Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday afternoon build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. This week we are still on issue 3, the last part. I believe this is stage 6. Yep, stage 6. So this is engine block that we're going to be constructing here, and this is going to end up attaching to the transmission that we started. So this is the new kit here. And this is the transmission, gearbox, and oil pan that we put together last week. So these are going to go together. I haven't really looked ahead at this. I probably should have read the instructions again. You know, most of the time I do. But we're going to go and see where we end up. So I've got my trusty screwdrivers. And I've already checked. We got AP, BP, and DM screws this week, which is what this kit is supposed to have. So let's go ahead and start building. Assuming I can separate these plastic shells at all. So, step 1. We're going to fit a support and a dipstick to the main housing. So this is the hunk of die cast, half the engine cylinder head. So we're going to attach to this. We are going to attach a little curvy bit here, and we are also going to attach the reservoir that the end of the reservoir that the dipstick's going to go into, and we're going to attach, if we can focus, the dipstick itself. So we got all of those. We're going to use DM screws to secure pieces here. So let me get me some DM screws out. I think we're going to need 3 of them. Try a different size screwdriver here to start with. I think that's a good fit. So it's Wednesday afternoon. I'm home from work again, as we do all the time. It is super hot again. It's actually not super hot, it's just super hot in here because I didn't have the air conditioner running while I was not here. You know, for energy reasons. The electric bills in this state have gone up astronomically this year to the point that we have, you know, like actual, I don't know, nothing will happen, I'm sure, but political noise about it. We deregulated the power companies in this state many years ago, about 20 years ago, and now everybody's suddenly catching on that that was a stupid thing to do. But in the meantime, we're going to blame current stuff instead of the fact that we deregulated 20 years ago and allowed them to, you know, they told us all that it was going to be an improvement, that, you know, you'd be able to buy your power and your distribution from different people, and you know, there's competition. There's no competition, and there's never been any competition. So instead, you basically get multiple bills for the same things, and nobody actually takes any responsibility for the infrastructure behind all of it. So you get billed for it, and then when the power goes out, they go, "Oh, we're not the ones who deal with that. You have this other company that we all sort of pay, but we don't. You know, they don't do anything because what do they care?" And yeah, so ultimately, it's garbage. It's all garbage. So, political rant over. It's not the current people's fault. It's deregulation 20 years ago. That's the whole rant. So, in that time, I got that attached here on the side. 2 screws, hold that on. That's where the dipstick lands at some point, I guess. No, I guess not. That goes into something else. Dipstick's going to go on the side of this. I don't know what that's for. It's some kind of support. Next piece is another kind of support. That little curvy bit, which is looks like not quite symmetrical. So this is going to go somewhere on here. Hard to tell which way that's supposed to go, because one side is longer than the other, but they don't really tell you. Engine block lower part. Well, I'm gonna make a guess, and if it's wrong later, I'll fix it later. The picture looks like it's longer on the side that stays out, and I can't tell otherwise. So we got that attached, and like I say, I've guessed on which way it goes. And it's easy enough to reverse it if down the road I decide that's wrong. I don't know what else goes there. So, that is this curvy bit down here. Like I say, I put the longer side, this will focus, put the longer side out here and the shorter side on what is the outside, really. So, I guess we'll figure that out. So, next step is the cylinder head itself. So we start with the cylinder head minus the gasket on the top, and we're going to attach an exhaust manifold to it using AP screws. Looks like 3 of them, so I'm going to get those out here. 3 AP screws. This has tabs on it, and those are going to go into the side of the cylinder head. There's really no way to screw that one up, so it's going to go together like that and get screwed in from the underside. Now one of these looks like has a bit of plastic still in the hole, so I'm going to try to clear that out first carefully rather than try to push a screw through it. Spudger seemed to take care of that just fine. Oh, I skipped a step on the last part. So on this, you have the dipstick. The dipstick's going to go on it, and it just kind of pushes in. Yeah, it fits okay. Not sure if I got that right or not. I think so. Well, I think that's right. So when it's all done, it'll look like that. Fits okay, not amazing. Now we're going to attach this exhaust header. And that just screws in with the AP plastic screws. And put them all loose in to start with, and then we'll tighten them down for fit. So still August. The person I mentioned last time who was seriously injured is remarkably out of the hospital now. Injury is such that, according to Wikipedia, survival rate was like less than 5%. So I'm kind of flabbergasted, and I wish them luck in their recovery. It's going to be, I think, long and painful still, but they're already beating all the expectations, so I guess it's a good place to start, right? Okay, next piece of this is the wire loom. This tiny little wire loom, if we can make that focus, is kind of just going to sit on the edge of this until the next piece comes along. And there is a very small notch in the side here. That's where that lines up. And it kind of just sits there and gets held in place by the actual cylinder head, which is going to get BP screws to hold it together. 4 of them. And these are tiny, tiny screws. So I'm going to check the fit on my screwdriver again. And this is not a screwdriver that is going to work with these screws. Let me go smaller, see where we get. Might have to go 2 smaller. Nope, 1 smaller seems perfect. Okay. So, this all sort of sits together and sandwiches in. Yep, So sandwiched together, no screws in it yet, but that wire loom gets held in by those two pieces. So I gotta keep a thumb on that while I get the first screw in, which I will put in right next to it. Get that started. And now it won't fall out, perfect. And we'll just put the other 3 screws in. That's 2, 3, and this is number 4. And we're just going to go around and make sure they are tight, but not too tight, because don't want to crack the plastic. So the lower portion of this that's already sitting on the table right now, that's die cast. Even the little pieces are. This piece here is all plastic so far. The loom, the cylinder head, the exhaust manifold is all plastic. Okay. So now this is going to fit on top of what I've just put together, such that the dipstick is going to pass through part of it, right next to the cylinder head. And that's going to get held on with a couple of the 8-piece screws. So we're going back to those, 2 of those. From the underside, there's just 2 tabs. Let's screw this in. And again, it's going into plastic from metal, so it is one of the plastic screws, even though it's going to be backed up against metal because it's driving into the plastic piece. Slightly awkward angle to drive this all together. All these other lugs kind of get in the way of the screwdriver. So a very thin neck screwdriver would be helpful here, but I don't know. Outside of using the tiny ones they gave me, yeah, I guess that works. All right, so that's where we are now. Cylinder head, exhaust manifold, dipstick, and all this going together. Now this is going to start attaching to the gearbox from last week using a DM screw. We just get 1 of these and that will be finishing up this week's build. But we're starting to see, you know, some actual shape here. So this is going to go on such that the wire loom is close to the transmission, like that. Wire loom, and that's the attachment point in here. Okay, so we are just about there. Let me get this tight. Okay, so from that side, not that impressive because we're missing an entire side of the engine block, but we're starting to look like an engine and a transmission from this side. So coming up, we're going to have, I think, the other half of this. Is that next? We're going to get the top and then the other half of it, and then the air filter, and then I don't know what the last bit of parts are. It looks like fan belt, serpentine, something. So, again, we do Ghostbusters Ecto-1 on Wednesdays. I'll put that playlist up. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can just click on the cat. And then we also have the Build the Back to the Future DeLorean on Saturdays. That playlist is a little bit further along, and I'll put that up for you too. If you like what you see, keep watching. Have a good one, guys.